name is Shawna. Today we're going to be going through a short yoga flow. So I'll guide you through a sequence. I want to say right away, always take the variation that feels good to you. So as I guide you through this flow, if you'd like to take a different posture entirely, or if you'd like to take a different variation, that choice is always yours. Your body, your yoga. I see you all are sitting, so we'll go ahead and start in a seated position today. Just make sure you're comfortable. And take a moment, kind of maybe rock back and forth on your sit bones a little bit. Just feel the ground beneath. So once you're seated, go ahead and take the arms, and we'll lift the arms overhead and reach through the fingertips. Your arms could be slightly bent here. You could take your gaze up for a moment if you'd like. Then take your right hand and bring it down to the ground next to you. And reach through those left fingertips. Really reaching them over your head. And feel some length in that left side body, like you have a rubber band from your rib cage to your hip. And we'll inhale both arms back up, reach through those fingertips again. And on an exhale, we could bring that left hand down, reach through that right arm there. Nice long side body. Keep that hip, that right sit bone down on the ground. If not, you could come out of it a little bit. And breathe. Always checking in with our breath. Making sure that we can take a nice full inhale and exhale. And we'll inhale both arms up and reach through those fingertips again. Nice and long. Then exhale both hands back down to our side. From here, we can take the palms together and bring them to our heart. Sit up nice and straight with the spine, checking in with our spine here, our posture, opening our heart. And then we're gonna take a little twist over to the right. So we're gonna wanna twist from this space right here and just begin gently twisting over to the right. If you'd like, you could take a look behind that right shoulder. See who's behind you there. That feels good on your neck. And then we'll return back to center. Nice and slow and controlled. And keeping our heart nice and open, straight spine. We'll begin twisting over to the left gently. We don't have to get too far here. Just a little gentle twist in the spine. Maybe we look over that left shoulder. Check in with the breath, nice deep breaths. And then we'll return back to center. We'll release our hands from our heart. Now let's just walk our hands in front of us, doing a nice little forward bend, nice long spine. You could let the head relax and be heavy. And just reach through those arms. And we'll walk ourselves back up. Now we'll just rock forward. So we're gonna rock forward so we're on all fours. So our knees are right under the hips. Hands are right underneath our shoulders. We're in the shape of a tabletop. We're gonna do what we call some cat-cows. So as we inhale, we're gonna let our belly drop down towards the earth and our heart and gaze lift like a happy cow. And on our exhale, we're gonna bring our belly button in up towards the spine, round our upper back like a scared Halloween cat. Let the head be heavy. And we'll do that again as we inhale, belly drops down, chest lifts. There you go. Perfect, guys. And on an exhale again, now we're rounding that upper back. Scared Halloween cat again. So we're beginning to wake up the spine here, and we're coordinating with our breath. So you can move back and forth like this at your own pace. Arching and rounding the spine. We'll go 3 more breaths. cow. This is a great move when you're waking up in the morning or whenever you're just feeling stiff from maybe sitting in the classroom too long. All right, at the end of your last breath, go ahead and meet in neutral, which is just flat spine back in our tabletop here. Now we're gonna find a downward dog. So we're gonna curl our back toes under, and then we're gonna lift our hips up to the sky and bring our front body through the arms here, staring at our feet. So this is our downward dog. We'll take a couple breaths here, adjust to being kind of upside down. You can bend the legs back and forth. And then we'll begin walking our feet up towards our hands. So we're coming up to a forward fold at the top of our mat here. So once you're here, just let the upper body be heavy. You could bend the knees a little bit. You could just let the arms hang. Or maybe you grab the opposite elbows. And just sway a little bit back and forth. See if you can make the head and the neck heavy. And relaxed. And then we'll go ahead and roll up. So imagine vertebrae by vertebrae in the spine. We're rolling all the way up. Keep that chin tucked. That'll stop you from getting dizzy when we get to the top. I'm gonna hold it there for a moment, then we're in standing. Okay, so this is our mountain pose or Tadasana. So we'll take some time here, just find our grounding and our balance, maybe rocking back and forth from the heels to the toes. Rock side to side. Even though we stand all the time, this is a balancing posture. All right, from here, let's go ahead and take some arm circles. So bringing the arms, let's do backwards first actually. Nice big circles, bringing them behind us. Waking up the shoulders, using our full range of motion. Great, guys. And then we can bring those circles forward. Nice forward circles. Seeing what these shoulder joints are capable of. And now on our next circle, let's fold back into that forward fold, bringing our torso down and reaching towards the ground. Once again, let the head be heavy for a minute here. And bring your hands all the way to the ground. So if we need to bend our knees a lot to get there, go ahead and just bend the knees and bring the palms down. Now we're gonna step the left foot back behind us. So palms are down and left foot comes back. And then drop that left knee to the ground and release the foot. So we're in a low lunge here, like a runner's lunge. So the front foot is on the ground and knees bent. There you go, perfect. And now we're gonna lift ourselves up off of that knee. You could bring your hands to the hips, they'll keep you nice and stable. Lengthen the spine. Perfect. This is a bit of a balancing posture. It doesn't seem like it, but just try to fixate on something in front of you that's not moving, so maybe not your other classmates there. And then we'll bring our hands back down in front of that foot. Curl those back toes under and step that foot up to meet the right. We're still in a forward fold here. There you go, and now we're gonna step the right foot back. Same thing we did on the other side, and drop that knee down. Release the foot. So low lunge here. And then we'll inhale, lift our torso off of our knee. Bring our hands to our hips. Take a few deep breaths here. Always making sure that you can take a nice full deep breath in these poses. And we'll bring the hands down again. Curl those back toes under. And bring that right foot up to meet the left. There we go. Then we're gonna roll up again, back to standing, okay? There you go, all the way up. Finding ourselves standing again. And we're gonna go into a lunge again, but this time we're gonna be a little higher. So from standing, let's step that left foot back this time. And you could bring your hands to your hips, or you could bring them together at your heart. You could be up on that ball of that back feet, or back foot. And we'll be here for a couple of breaths, using our leg strength, testing our balance. And then you could drop that back heel down so the toes will come out a little bit, but we'll be a little bit more solid here. Just drop that heel down. There we go, testing our balance. And then go ahead and open the body up. So there you go, perfect. And you could bend into that front knee there. See if you could see that big toe when you look down. You want to see that big toe. If not, just kind of shift that knee towards the pinky toe. There you go. This is a warrior pose. Warrior 2. So you could stare over those fingertips and feel like a nice strong warrior. All right, if you're feeling a little burn in the quad now, you'll probably be happy to straighten that leg. So go ahead and straighten that front leg. So now we're more like a triangle. Okay? You can bring your arms out wide in front of you. Stare over those fingertips. And we're gonna bring that front arm forward, 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 reaching. You could bring the hands back to the hips. And let's bring that torso over that extended leg. There you go. If you'd like, you could bring the hand down to the shin or the thigh, whatever is comfortable for you. A nice open chest here, so we don't want to be leaning over our leg. We want to be nice and open. That means coming up a little, that's okay. All right, inhale, we're going to come all the way back to an upright position. We're going to face forward towards our toe and step that left foot up to meet the right. All right, guys, we're gonna do that on the other side now. So now we're gonna step that right foot back and find that high lunge on the opposite side. You can bend that back knee a little bit, that helps. There you go. Perfect. Take a couple breaths here. You can take a nice deep inhale, nice full exhale. And then go ahead and drop that back foot down. See if I can face you guys here, there we go. Yeah, so keep that back heel down. And go ahead and face forward. Nice strong gaze, remember we're a warrior here. And then we're gonna open up. Opening up the hips, opening up the heart. And you could stare over those front fingertips, nice and strong. Look down and see if you could see that toe, that big toe. And then straighten that front leg, finding our triangle again. Perfect. Once again, reach through those fingertips. Bring the hands back to the hips for stability. And then just fold the torso over a little bit. That's great, open heart, looks good. And then you can bring your hand down if you want, or your hand can stay right at the hips. Whatever helps you feel the most stable. You could always look down at the ground, sometimes to help with balance, or straight forward, or up if you really want to challenge your balance. All right, we're gonna lift it up. Back to standing, face that front foot, and step the right foot up to the left. All right. Now go ahead and inhale, let's bring the arms straight up overhead again. Maybe look at the fingertips. And then let's fold forward back into a forward fold. So bringing our hands back down in the direction of the ground, they don't have to reach there. Bending the knees. And then step the left foot back, and then the right. And then right away we could drop the knees down and release the tops of the feet. Now we're gonna hug the elbows in and lower the upper body down. So our hands are still underneath our shoulders here. Our belly is all the way down to the mat, so we're like a snake essentially, so we're laying down flat on our bellies, perfect. And now we're gonna peel our chest and chin and head off the mat and gaze forward. So this is called a baby cobra pose. A bit of a back bend here, great for the spine. Breathe. And then we're gonna press into the hands and send the hips back. So we're back in the tabletop here. And we're gonna return to a downward dog. So curling those back toes under and then lifting the hips up towards the sky. Our downward dog. Take a couple breaths here. Nice full breaths. Remember, it's hard to move without breathing. So we can't forget to breathe. And then let's walk our hands back to meet our feet this time at the back of our mat. Take a couple breaths in our forward fold, letting our head be heavy. And then we'll roll ourselves up, finding ourselves in standing at the... There we go. All right, we're gonna take a little balance posture now. So this could always be fun. We're gonna sink into our left foot, so really feel grounded. Maybe even lift up the right a little bit and see if you could balance on that left foot for a moment. There you go. You could bring that right foot back down. We're gonna come up onto the tippy toe. And it's gonna be right next to the left. There you go. And then we're gonna open the knee out. So you can stay right here. This is a balance posture. It's our tree pose. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, sink into that left foot and bring that right foot up somewhere along the leg. Don't want it to be against the knee, but it could be down here or it could be up higher. That's definitely a little more challenging. You can keep your hands at your heart. Or bring them to the hips. Or if you want to challenge your balance, you could grow your tree and bring your arms up. A little tip again for balancing, stare at something in front of you that's not moving. And remember, trees sway. It's okay, and if you fall out of it, you can just jump right back in, but you guys are awesome. Look at you balancing. All right, one more deep breath. And then let that foot come down. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Loosen up that leg. And we'll try that on the other side. Ground into that right foot this time. Feel your balance, maybe lift the leg. There you go. And then we'll bring that left foot next to the right. Up on our tippy toe. There you go. Shake it out. And then we'll open up that knee to the left. And then take that foot wherever is comfortable. It could stay right there, or if you want to bring it up the opposite leg a little bit, you can. If you're bringing it up against the opposite leg, a good trick too is to press the leg and the foot kind of together to find a center. Stare at that unmoving object in front of you. Maybe sway back and forth a little bit. One more deep breath. And then let that go, shake it out. All right. So now let's take our feet wide. So that was the same distance as your hips. And then we'll turn the toes out a little wider, just like that. That was perfect. So let me see if you can see me better here. So the toes are just gonna come out a little bit. Maybe you need them a little wider. We're gonna do, you can bring the hands to the heart. We're gonna sit down, so we're gonna squat, bending the legs, squatting down towards the earth. This is our yoga squat. Might be up on the tippy toes a little bit, it just depends on your body. You can bring the hands together and press the elbows into the inner thighs. We're gonna tune into the spine here. want it to be nice and long. We don't want to be rounding forward too much. We can help it, so we're going to keep moving in the direction of an open heart and a lifted chest. And we're going to imagine our sit bones sinking down towards the earth, getting closer and closer with each breath. Yeah, it's a little different. This is a posture that a lot of people don't take anymore, but it's really, really good for the back and the pelvis. It's a fun challenge. And we just breathe. All right, from here, let's sit our bottom down onto the ground. However we need to get there. We can rock down, fall down, go down gracefully. And from here, let's extend the legs long out in front of us. So just this posture right here could be a bit of a challenge when we try to sit upright. So our legs are extended in front of us, nice and long. And see if we could take the arms down by the side, press into the ground, and lift our posture up. So see if we could open our chest, straighten the spine. See how that feels. So if you could see here, I'm not actually back bending or anything. I'm just literally trying to sit upright, and it's much more challenging than it seems. All right, you could release that, maybe bring the arms behind you a little bit. And this time, go ahead and lift the heart with the arms behind you. It's a little back bend. Maybe you look up, or just keep your gaze forward. There you go. And we'll come back to an upright position. Let's just rock the legs back and forth a little bit. Rock the legs from side to side. Good, straighten the toes, point the toes forward, and bend them back. Let's check in with the legs and the feet here. All right, now we're gonna take a fold forward. So our legs are extended. If you need to bend the knees slightly, if it's a lot on the legs, you definitely can do that. We're gonna inhale, lift the arms up over our head and reach through the fingertips again. So we're having a nice long spine. We look up and then start to fold forward. Reaching for whatever we can grab. So maybe that's our ankles or our calves. And give ourselves a little pull forward, bringing our head in the direction of our feet. And then we'll relax the upper body and let the head come down, the upper back rounds. Finding our forward fold. Let's take about 3 nice deep breaths here. All right, and we're gonna roll up again just like we did from standing, finding ourselves back and seated. Now let's bring the legs wide. See if we can. There we go. So now with the legs wide, we're gonna do very much the same thing. You might wanna bring the flesh out from underneath the sit bones so you're sitting more on the ground. Go ahead and bring the hands behind you, just like you all are right there, and open the heart, a little back bend. And then now we'll sit up straight again and walk the hands forward. And forward fold. The knees could be bent here slightly also, but we want a nice wide-legged stance. And then let the upper body be heavy. So maybe the forearms come down, or maybe you're still up on the hands. We'll take 3 deep breaths here. How big you can make those breaths. again. We'll walk the hands back up to the middle. Sit upright again. Now let's bring the soles of the feet together. We're finding a butterfly pose. Looks good. Let's just find our grounding here. You could bring the hands on either side of the feet or the legs right here. Just try to sit up nice and straight. And breathe. Then we'll start bringing our chest forward. So guiding with the chest, we're gonna begin to bring ourselves forward into a bit of a forward fold. You could walk the hands on the mat just like we did for the wide-legged forward fold. You reach until you can't go forward anymore. You could stay right here. Or if you'd like to relax the upper body, you could round the upper back and let the head be heavy. Now with the head nice and heavy, if it's not already, we'll lift ourselves up a little bit and then just rock the neck back and forth. With the head to the right and then to the left, rolling out the neck. Giving ourselves a little neck massage. And then we'll come all the way back up to seated. And let our head float right up between our shoulders. All right. I'm gonna find our way to our back now. So you can just roll right onto your spine if you'd like. And then hug the knees in towards the chest. As if we're rolling into a little ball. There you go, and you can rock back and forth. Side to side. And then go ahead and extend the legs long, straight up above you. The knees can stay a little bit bent. You can point the toes, and then point them back towards your nose. And then grab onto whatever we can. So maybe that's just the back of the thighs right here, or maybe it's the back of the calves. If you're really flexible, it might be the toes, but that's a reach. So you grab from behind the thighs. We're just gonna pull the legs in toward you just a little bit. We want our back on the mat here. Breathe. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And bend our knees and bring our feet down. Bring our arms out in a T. So they're just going to come out to the side. And then allow our knees to come up towards our chest again. So hug the knees in a little bit. There you go. And then let them rock over to the left side. They don't have to come all the way down, they can be slightly lifted, finding a little twist. So this could feel really good on the back. Gentle on the spine and the nervous system. Good way to calm yourself down. We'll bring the knees back up to center. And then let them rock to the other side. Finding a twist on the opposite side here. So letting them rock to each side. And just taking a few breaths here. Letting the spine release and relax. And we'll bring the knees back up towards center. Feet are down. And then just extend the legs long, laying on our back. We'll take a short little Savasana. So what that means is we're just gonna lay here and relax for some breaths. So if you wanna count some breaths, we could do about 10 breaths. Or you could just relax and not think about anything at all. Just let your breath be natural. And feel the effects of our practice. Allow your body to be heavy. Release any tension that you're feeling. If your thoughts are wandering, that's okay. All right, whenever you're ready, let's reach the arms up over our head. And then reach through the fingertips and the toe tips, making ourselves nice and long. We're waking up for the very first time. Let that go. Let's just roll over to our side. Curl ourselves up in a little ball for a couple breaths. And then return to seated, slowly lifting ourselves up into a seated position. All right. Hands together. Great job, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this yoga flow today. Look forward to working with you again in the future, and I hope you have a wonderful day, okay?